Hey everyone! Welcome back. I am back today with more Clone Wars, you guys. Last time did make me a little bit introspective, a little bit sad, a little bit of, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but it was really, really good, and I'm enjoying this arc and looking forward to seeing what is going to develop next. I think we still have quite a bit to deal with. So I did a pretty big wistful rant on my last reaction on the outro. So I will keep it short today as I kind of tell you my lingering thoughts on last time. But first off, before I get into that, I just want to say, if you're joining me early today, you know just what that means. That means that you are one of my awesome patrons. Thank you so much. And as always, I'm sending you up those big old hugs right through that screen. And if not, still thank you for joining me today. I'm glad you're here. I do hope you'll consider supporting me that way. The link to my Patreon is going to be in that description down below. If you are joining me on those YouTubes, I hope you'll hit like and subscribe for me. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Yeah, the episode before last, I had been like, yay, finally like a little bit more lighthearted arc. We're going to get like some shippy stuff. We're going to get like jealous Anakin, which in the past we've seen, and has not really gone to the level that we got to last episode. And I feel like they heard me and they're like, oh, did you think this is going to be kind of a cutesy one? Nah. It's going to be straight up, Anakin and Padme separating because of Anakin's uncontrollable anger issues, which I totally get. I just felt so bad. I just felt so bad about the whole situation last time. Like, I felt bad for Padme. I just felt bad about all of it. Yeah. I had a lot of thoughts after this last one about how I wish things had been different and gone differently, because you could very, very clearly see all the like signs, all the red flags that are pointing to like what's going to happen in the next movie. I think that it really does add something to Revenge of the Sith to have this fleshed out a little bit, as opposed to going from like, not that like there weren't any issues in like episode 2, like trust me, like the whole like killing all the Tusken Raiders thing was the big red flag. It was a big old red flag. But I mean, essentially we just kind of go from like, okay, we end off, they seem happy, they're secretly married, to Revenge of the Sith. It's not nothing against it. Like, I think they still do such an awesome job in episode 3 of really telling that story, of taking you through Anakin's whole like downfall and everything. But I do feel like it adds so much to it to have Clone Wars in between. Like, if you've seen Clone Wars, it's really just the cherry on top as a fan. To be able to see like, oh, so there was actually even more stuff. There was even more red flags than we thought. And, to have this point at which they're like actively not doing all right and like taking a break and stuff, it really does, kind of accentuate everything that happens later. So, yeah, it definitely bummed me out, but I thought it was really well done. And I don't know, guys, we still have who knows how much longer left in this arc. And if there's one thing I know about Clone Wars, is that they can turn the vibe on like a dime. They can just take the whole tone of the arc and kind of shift it with one episode. So, I, for one, am excited to see, what we're going to be doing next. I think we still have some stuff to get into with the whole Clovis thing, the whole everything. So without further ado, what do you say we go ahead and we jump right into the next episode of Clone Wars? Let's go.
And control of the banks shall transfer immediately to Rush Clovis under the guidance of the Mune government.
Okay. So we did that. Like, ordinarily this would be like, yay, we got the corrupt people out, but like, we know it's not that simple.
We are grateful to you, Clovis, for everything you have done for the Mune people.
Don't look at him that way, Padme.
Once he decides what he is fighting for, little will stop him from achieving it.
Let us hope you are right, for all our sakes.
Also, it's probably kind of how he feels about the whole Padme Padme situation. He has clearly not given up hope on that front. Didn't they have like plans to try and besmirch him or something? Palpatine. Great. It's just like the little devil on your shoulder.
I must say.
For your support, I am grateful. But I now must lead without allegiance towards either side.
That's they're impartial, right? The whole point of the bank is like.
Is that so?
He's like, yeah, no.
Like the idealist you have become. How do you think the Republic would like to know that it was I who supplied Rush Clovis with all the information he needed to topple the leaders of the bank?
I will tell them myself.
Oh, but you can't. I put you in power. You belong to me. And if you want to stay in control, you will do as I say.
Now he's the puppet.
The banks.
And I'm afraid the Separatists will be unable to pay the interest on our loans.
But the banks will collapse and then...
What if you raise interest rates on the
Blackmailing.
Republic?
What? You know I can't do that.
That was the plan?
You can, and you will.
Extort the
Everything
Republic?
that you fought so hard for will be destroyed.
God!
It is essential that interest rates on loans to the Republic be raised immediately.
Oh, poop.
But you can't do that. Clovis. Clovis!
Clovis.
What are you doing?
Clovis has turned to the dark side. Oh, he does not have a lot of good options, to be fair.
I knew from the beginning that Clovis would be...
So this is what they're doing to just what they're doing. Gotcha. Anakin's like, told you so.
You might have been about Clovis.
I don't think it's very satisfying.
Something's wrong.
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense.
Doesn't.
I would like to call for restraint.
Because they're trying to
allow us time
to make him look bad.
analyze the situation.
And of course, Palpatine comes out smelling like a rose. You know, stop, guys. It just makes my blood boil.
It is time to make Rush Clovis look like a powerful separatist. Right away, sir.
He already looks like a not well liked separatist. Let's up the ante.
Looks to be a full invasion.
Invasion?
Crap. It's gonna make it look like Clovis. This is exactly what they want. They wanted Clovis to look this way. Palpatine. He's just pulling all the strings. This is not your average battle droid squad. Oh man. This like 360 kind of fighting is really intimidating. Just coming to check his handiwork.
Harrison has been attacked by the Separatists, and it appears they are staging an invasion of Scipio.
An invasion? What do they hope to achieve? With
I'm
this
so
news,
done.
The Senate will vote immediately to attack Scipio.
It appears war has already come to Scipio.
I
They
want
were
you off
supposed to be
that planet
impartial.
immediately.
I can't.
Surely you can get to a ship.
General Skywalker, I'm afraid I'm trapped.
Oh! He's like, say no more. Oh, you could just see there was so much they wanted to say to each other.
That you should handle this matter, my boy.
Get your hand off.
A lot will
Don't.
be entrusted to you.
No. Get your hand off him, first of all. Second of all, don't call him my boy. Third, get off my screen. You make me sick.
Clovis, what is going on?
They're trying to
want
make...
this, Padme.
Oh.
Why don't you tell her what you did want?
Oh, about that. He should have just come out and said that the Separatists. He would have been better off if he came out with the truth than this.
Padme, this is not what it seems.
It really
She joined our cause.
isn't. Oh.
Clovis here told me how instrumental you were in getting him to power.
If I had known.
Either you're with us or you're against us. Arrest her.
Oh,
Can't
man.
do this, Dooku. The Separatist Senate will never approve.
Oh! Padme knows her way around a blaster. Oh.
No!
Straight up use the...
Saint, this was not part of the deal.
Straight up use the Force.
What have
Straight
you done here,
up.
Clovis?
He's given us the banks. Gone are our debts, and gone is any credit for the Republic.
So much for an
All
impartial
your
banking
idealism was
system.
just a front.
There was nothing I could do.
Everyone has their price.
As the Separatists are currently invading Scipio.
We must stop them and secure the planet. We have
He just wants to cause more strife. He lives off the strife. He lives off it. And now they're all gonna invade. More on Scipio. He's like, you guys started it, not me.
Scipio to be led by General Anakin Skywalker. The banks will be secured at all costs, and the Republic will not crumble.
Get off my screen. Get off my gosh darn screen.
I'm afraid we may be too late.
Correct, you were about Clovis. But let go of your selfishness. You must. If you are to see clearly, not all
kind of the whole
is as it seems.
Yeah. You're right about that.
Master.
Lord Tyrannus, the Republic fleet will be arriving shortly.
Very good, my lord. Clovis has blindly played his part. It now appears he coordinated the entire separatist takeover.
That's what they wanted.
And because of the banks will be firmly placed under the control of the Supreme Chancellor.
But don't worry. I am the one in control.
Oh.
As soon as things have settled down.
You've brought war right where there cannot be war.
Okay, in one place where there should not be war.
Rex, have you gotten a fix on Senator Amidala's position?
Yeah, he's definitely not leaving his emotion behind
Initial
here.
scan suggests she's still alive.
Entered orbit and is approaching the city.
You do not have control of the
It
situation.
appears Count Dooku has left the planet's surface.
He's left the building.
And the separatist forces are in full retreat. We are alone.
Yeah. Yep. So they're essentially just leaving him to rot. And here comes Anakin, and how? That being said, though, how could you leave emotion behind? Like, that's the thing. Is like, as much as I ship them, it's like the very reason why he's so. Oh God, that is not what you want to see. Are you flipping kidding me? Really? Really? He's gone. He's like, I'm a man with nothing to lose. Okay. He's crossed the line now.
You've all been deceived.
Yeah, by you.
No, it's more than that. He is right about that.
I'm not the villain here. Tell him, Padme.
Let me go, Clovis.
Oh, Clovis is really straight up gonna die. Clovis is truly... He is right. He was framed. He should not have taken info from the Separatists, but at the same time, this did go much, much, much further than anyone's seeing. He was a... If any impartial third party could look at this, we could get some clarity on the fact that this was clearly... Whoa! A Fall Guy situation. Holy crap. Oh, he's just straight up gonna... Oh, which one is he gonna hang on to? Let's try and take a wild guess.
I can't hold both of you.
Let
me go.
No, Anakin, don't.
He's right. He's done. Oh. I should try instead. So, can we use the Force?
Sorry, Padme.
No.
He's already, everything is just completely crashed around him, and he's just, wow. Not saying he was in the right.
You're okay.
I'm sorry, Anakin. I'm sorry.
I told you.
It's over now. It's all over now.
Oh, I cannot resist the ship!
We cede control of the banks to the office of the Chancellor of the Galactic Republic.
I'm gonna be sick. I can't handle this.
With great humility,
Ah!
that I take on this immense
Laughable.
response and saving.
Just saying everything everyone wants to hear. At a time like this, everyone wants to hear words like safety and stability. Still not impartial I feel like Padme's got a little bit of a bad feeling about this. She's like, this doesn't add up when you really think about it. Dang, guys. Oh, man. Like to point out that still doesn't, it's now the Republic controls the banks, which is still not. And he's like, yeah, don't worry. When this is all said and done, like, it'll all go back. When this is all said and done, there's going to be a gosh darn empire. Which clearly nobody knows. Although you could see Padme at the end there being like, huh, this kind of doesn't feel right, come to think of it. And I mean, she knew Clovis not like super well, but I think if she really has some time to think about it and reflect on it, it's not going to add up. He did very much lose himself in that whole thing, and that was evidenced by him taking Padme hostage at the end. Like he was at that, he was gone. He was at the end of his rope. He had nothing to lose, and decisions were made, and they were not good decisions. And he made some bad decisions along the way as well. Like, the kind of like, well, if I just do this little thing with the separatists, I'll get into power, and then I could help. I could, that saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's kind of like that. I think he really did have every intention of trying to make an honest effort with the banks. And we know he had a history too, like what he was telling Padme in the last episode, that really contributes to the idea of like he wanted to leave behind a legacy of doing good. And watching him realize that like his legacy was going to be basically, he was framed as like the ultimate traitor and twist ending perpetrator. He could not live with that. He literally could not live with it, and just made the choice to let go in more ways than one. And I kind of thought, I think after last episode, at the beginning of this episode, I'm like, if they're framing him, watch it be a situation where everyone's like, Anakin, you were right. And like all the stuff that happened with Anakin that was really, really bad kind of gets pushed aside. It kind of goes back to that idea that I've talked about this a really, really, really long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It feels like it sometimes. That Anakin makes these kind of risky moves, but he never really gets called out on it because it typically works out. He's typically right, or it typically works out, but it's like, it still does not mean the method was okay, And in this case, like, he had the jealous, violent rage with Padme and Clovis. And although he was right, how convenient, too, that everything kind of ended up working out so that Anakin could keep on getting more and more attached to his wife and his love of his life, so that we had something that we could snatch away from him to turn him to the dark side. Coincidence? I don't think so. Palpatine quite literally makes me feel ill. As a kid, like, I was terrified of the Emperor. Terrified. So I've never really liked Palpatine. And I knew he was shady and pulling strings in all the movies. But I gotta say, this series has, like, taken it to a whole new level. Like, I did not like him before, now I detest him. But it's just, like, even the stuff that... Everything is so mired in with, like, bad stuff that's all leading up to a bad ending that it's really hard to separate. Like, it's hard to separate the Anakin-Padme relationship with everything that's going to happen later on. Because even at this stage, we can see, like, there was a lot of unhealthy stuff going on. Like, Palpatine aside, there was some unhealthiness in that relationship. There was some rocky roads, and not the sweet ice cream kind. There was some issues with Anakin and how he dealt with situations, like not trusting her and getting, like, very tightening the grip of like, you know, like it kind of cracked me up in the intro here. It's like, you know, oh, she ignored his request. He straight up demands it. Like, no, Sweet Pea, that's not how this works. That's not how marriage works. And Padme was right when she was like, this isn't good. I'm not happy. This isn't a good marriage. She was right on a lot of levels. But things just always kind of happen to work out to where it looks like Anakin is in the right. And, you know, in this case, it was kind of strategically maneuvered that way. In some cases, he just straight up, you know, was lucky and ends up being right on one of his hunches and pulling risky moves and stuff. And so he's never really called out on a lot of that behavior, I feel like. Or it gets, you know, gotta know exactly if there is going to be a lot of resolution past this point that we're going to see or whatever. But if I had to infer, if they never showed us anything about the situation again, I would infer that, like, they made up and everything just kind of went on as it was. And it's like, sweetheart, he had a violent outburst. So what if he had been wrong? And he had almost killed somebody. You were ready to separate from him. So it's even hard to, like, kind of, even though at the end I was kind of like, yay, I'm glad, but at the same time, like, ooh, there was a lot going on here. And then, like, just the whole thing, like, all the things that are, like, victories right now are not really, you know what I mean? Like, you know, because you've seen it and you know what I'm saying. All right, guys, I don't want this to turn into the type of existential rant that I had last time. So I will wrap it up. Great episode, great arc. You could tell they're just really starting to dig their heels in on the whole, like, escalating towards all the events of episode 3. So it's both amazing and, like, really nerve-wracking to watch. So, all right, guys, great episode. If that was the finale to the arc, great ending. If not, we'll see more next time. Either way, please join me for the next episode of Clone Wars. I have a feeling this whole season's going to be like absolute fire, and I cannot wait for it. So thank you so much for joining me today. Please be sure to join me next time. We will watch it together. Bye for now, guys.